And we'll have the interpretation turned on now as well. Next slide, please. For anyone who just joined, welcome to the Public Landscaper Workgroup meeting on small off-road engines. I'm again Navashni Mitchell. I go by Ash, an air pollution specialist at the California Air Resources Board, or CARB. I'm joined today by several of my colleagues: Manisha Singh, Chief of the Quality Management Branch; Christopher Dilbeck, Manager of the Testing and Certification Section, who is my supervisor; Jenna Ostad, Matthew Holmes, Michelle Dunlop, and Nicole Lambenicio, who are in the Testing and Certification Section; and Joshua Lowell and Vicky Hanks from the Mobile Source Control Division. We will start with a recap from the last meeting, hear landscaper experiences with zero-emission equipment, hear about smart charging technology, and have a panel discussion on incentives. We also have time for questions and answers. Please feel free to put questions in the Q&A. We will answer questions from the Q&A and call on those with raised hands after the presentations. Next slide, please. Before we begin, let's have a quick recap from our previous meetings. We have received a handful of nominations for businesses to serve on the panel of landscapers and have confirmed with those businesses that they are willing to serve on the panel. Some of those panelists shared in previous meetings, and our panelists will participate in the landscaper experiences with zero-emission equipment and incentives section. We are still accepting nominations. You may review our presentations from previous meetings on what we envision for the panel. We encourage landscapers to let their legislators know that they want more incentive funding. We received questions regarding incentives for larger businesses. These are available in some air districts through the Carl Moyer program. Representatives from several air districts are here today participating in the incentives question and answer panel. We have received some questions about electrical infrastructure and the potential need for upgrades to electrical service. A strategy to reduce the need for additional electrical circuits is the use of power management systems. Multiple chargers can be plugged into these devices, and one can cycle through charging several batteries unattended, with charging stretched out over a course of time. We have also invited Palank and Makita to speak on their technology. As a reminder, this workgroup meets 4 times a year. Next slide, please. The SOAR rules apply to manufacturers for producing new engines, which need certification in order to be sold in California. The rules do not have requirements for equipment owners, so equipment may continue to be used and repaired, and certified equipment in stores may continue to be sold. Next slide, please. CARB has received authorization from the US EPA regarding the SOAR regulations. This authorization decision was published in the Federal Register on January 6, 2025. CARB will focus on outreach and education in 2025. Full implementation of the SOAR regulations will begin with model year 2026. CARB will issue executive orders for 2025 engines that meet the 2023 standards. CARB issued a manufacturer's advisory correspondence in January 2025 that includes more information about the implementation of the rules. Dealers and other retailers may continue to sell certified equipment from 2024 and 2025. There is no requirement to stop selling certified equipment. You may find additional information about the updated rules in our presentation from previous workgroup meetings and in other documents on the CARB website. Next slide, please. We have asked landscapers on the panel to share their experience with zero emissions equipment and incentives programs. We have invited Chris Angelo of Stay Green and Blake Meal of Garden View Landscaping here today to speak. And let me just find them. I'm seeing a Chris. Chris, I've unmuted you. Is this Chris
Yep.
Angelo?
Yep. Ash, this is me.
Wonderful. So I'm just going to let me just and I'm looking for Blake and I'm not seeing him here. Okay, so it might just be you, Chris.
Okay.
Oh wait, Brandon Glover has raised his hand. Did you have a question, Brandon? Oh, oh,
No, I didn't. I didn't think I raised my hand. Sorry. Right.
no worries. Okay, so let's go back to the slide. Okay, so I'm just going to go forward with the slide. So we have some speaking prompts for our landscaper panelists. I'll open the floor now to Chris to discuss some of the prompts. So our first prompt, thank you, Matt, is what are the top 3 benefits of switching from gas to zero emission equipment is Z?
Yeah, thanks, Ash. Good evening, everybody. My name is Chris Angelo, owner operator of a commercial landscape business here in Southern California. We've got 11 locations, 500 team members, and roughly about 800 pieces of electric equipment out in the field today. We're at about 25% conversion from gas to electric. And so there's 3 significant benefits that we see and our team members see that are great for the community and great for the organizations that these our team members work. First one is the elimination of emissions being on your body, your person, or your back. You no longer have two-stroke emissions coming off of a piece of machinery into your personal space or area for breathing. So that's really exciting for us to bring healthier solutions to our team members. Second is the noise reduction is just it creates harmony in the communities that we're servicing. And it also creates a healthy benefit for our team members operating the equipment. Um, I would say 5 to 6 hours out of their workday, their 8 hour workday. And then lastly, we're seeing a huge benefit in repair and maintenance over the life of the equipment. And so we're not replacing carburetors, filters, things of that nature. It's almost um, mechanically, immune. It's free from repair while you're operating the equipment through its life, whether it's the 2 year warranty life or longer.
Thank you, Chris. And I see Blake now there as well. Blake, I've just unmuted you. And if you could unmute on your side.
I think I made it. All right.
Awesome. So go
Hey,
ahead.
Chris.
Hey, Blake.
How y'all doing? Top 3 benefits. Probably gonna sound like a broken record to the man. But my personal favorite from a managerial perspective is not having to deal with as much BS from mechanic stuff, all the filter changes and all of the clean outs and all of the, I mean, you still got to obviously sharpen your blades, but that's pretty much what we're down to, which is just awesome because all those tickets and all the finger pointing and everything could be really frustrating. But that also has its obvious cost benefit. And as far as the health of the guys is an obvious one. Uh, there's some the quiet factor is incredible. The reverse side to that, which is comical, and it's been one of the things that's just cracked me up the most in our transition, is how many complaints we got because they didn't think we were coming anymore. Specifically, the first month when we fully implemented, because we did it in largely a big foul swoop. So people just are immediately assuming that we didn't even show up. They don't bother to look outside and see that the place is manicured all nicely. They just go, "Oh, you guys are just not bothering my dogs." And we ended up actually losing one account over it ultimately, but they were insane in their own right, and they're happy to lose them. But there's also just a cost benefit in the ability to remove all that maintenance and the gas, having all the benefit of the CARB program for the trade-ins has had such an impact to make it quite profitable off the line. There's still very much a good cost ROI for even at full price. It's but it's a lot scarier to bite off for I imagine most organizations, and it's naturally a longer ROI and puts you in a little bit more risk of over theft or some catastrophic event really setting you back, because as many of the manufacturers preach, that you're effectively buying your gas up front when you are purchasing this kind of equipment, which makes tons of sense. And the only way that doesn't work out is if the equipment doesn't last as long as the gas that you had effectively budgeted, and that's going to happen with theft or a really poor product that doesn't have a good warranty or somebody standing behind it.
Gotcha. Thank you, Blake. We can go to the next prompt, Matt.
I'll start on this one. Hesitations were mostly around power, both of the equipment itself, its capacity to do the job. There's a lot of skepticism from the old school guys, and then also the duration of the charge times is naturally a problem for most, or I should say, I guess all of the manufacturers, but some have more creative solutions than others. And then also the cost in that whole, just it's a big leap of faith, really, if you're when making that jump. And so ensuring that you're going to have everything in place. I think ultimately most of those are all non applicable. The big thing I would suggest as far as a hesitation is only being certain that your charge infrastructure is capable and in place before letting AQMD go and crush all your gas blowers, and then you're stuck with a bunch of batteries that you're not able to charge yet, or because your infrastructure isn't a little less needed more than you anticipated, for example.
Chris, do you want to weigh in?
Yeah, sure, Ash. Yeah, so I think that for us, I mean, I'm a landscaper at heart, and then learn to be a leader and a businessman. So the first hesitation is one of change. The obvious is working in the field for 30 years using a piece of gas equipment and then going to a battery and have to rely on um, a way to refuel a battery that is just different than the traditional means of going to a gas station, having a 2 gallon gas can or a 5 gallon, 3 gallon, whatever it is, and then doing it that way. So once we got past that, which fortunately we were nudged in the city of Los Angeles with some, mandates of, gas equipment bans, right? Helped us nudge in that direction. Then we knew that this equipment was equivalent to a combustible engine equipment. And so that would be the biggest thing for me. The Another big thing when you're a deeper thinker is, yeah, well, how am I going to charge it consistently in our facilities or out in the road? But these manufacturers are pretty smart. They've created solutions that make it easier for us landscapers.
Thank you. Matt, next prompt, please.
Uh, well, ours is based around our trucks are kind of like more like a UPS or FedEx style step van truck, so they're their own self-contained little shops or warehouses, so that we don't have to unload equipment. And in LA area, we don't have warehouse facilities at a reasonable location or price, and so we have to park most of our equipment and trucks outside. And so we took advantage of the Crest cyber tank systems, which have been really helpful to. I put a shore power port on each of the trucks that connects to their cyber tank, which holds about 11 battery charges or so, and they can plug that in overnight, charge up some batteries, and then as well as that cyber tank, and then go out for the day and swap batteries out to the cyber tank, which charges them super fast, so you don't need a ton of batteries. And then we've also found that our clients are very amiable to us just plugging in at their properties. We have had zero complaints, which makes no sense to me because, I don't know if you guys have ever had the experience, but you try and just turn on a hose bib to fill a sprayer or water a plant across from somebody's unit. And I've had people like, you're going to have to pay me back for that water bill. And it's like, that was a penny. Are you kidding me? And it's for your plant outside. You're insane. But surprisingly, nobody has given us that kind of attitude about the power, which is naturally considerably more expensive than that like gallon of water that we took from their faucet. So that has been a pretty nice perk, is that they're happy for it because they're glad that we're using this kind of equipment. They don't have to hear it, they don't have to smell it, and so the support has been great. But we haven't had to up our battery storage as much as we thought we might have to because of that flexibility.
Chris, you want to weigh in?
Sure. Yeah, Ash, and for us, it's a combination of using a tank, a charging system on our trailers, and then charging at our facility and going out with an extra battery. So we kind of look at the route makeup. So if we're a traditional, going out on a traditional route, we may like to have that cyber tank, that charging system on that trailer and charging while we're moving around from job to job. So that's giving us quick charges and we're able to use that equipment with less batteries. If we're a report to job site, we're using longer cycle batteries that may be a little bit more expensive and then charging them nightly. And yeah, like Blake said, we're charging them at the on-site facilities that we're reporting to. And so it's a combination of those two. We're looking into standardizing charging systems at our 11 yard facilities so that like I like how Blake spoke about his FedEx truck that's electrified where you go in, you just plug in the back of the truck and you have a parking spot where you go. You don't have to unload your equipment, which is brilliant because it's secure, it's out of sight. Because in California, open trailers are very popular. It's very easy to grab and run with equipment, and that equipment's expensive and hard to replace. So, yeah, so we're looking into those solutions, and there's a lot of them out there. Southern California Edison and LA DWP offer a lot of incentives for getting charging systems set up.
Gotcha. Thank you, Chris and Blake. Thank you, Matt. That's the last prompt, which is what incentive programs have helped you purchase zero emission equipment?
Yeah, we took advantage of the core program and the massive benefit. The and traded in a ton of equipment and just by the tractor scoop, just dumping it into the back of a truck is it's a pretty crazy thing to watch. But it has made this all really possible. I would make the decision again, I think, in the long term without it, but now that I've had the experience, but it was the difference of my confidence and ability to really just pull the trigger on it. It felt like it would have been much more of a risk without that financial assistance that I think would have been prohibitive to making the move.
Thank you, Blake. Chris?
Yeah, I would say, yeah, that the core program and I mean the incentive programs offered out there it is so advantageous to the business owner to get in the game quickly before those run out. And so you're almost getting like for like piece of equipment that's brand new for almost no economic dollar value to it, right? With the rebate. We just purchased several large mower pieces of equipment, deck mowers, and I want to say the invoice was over $145,000. And I think after all of those rebates flowed through that invoice, we ended up paying the vendor $30,000. So it is it's definitely something you want to look at and get into while their funding is still there.
And know that it is. It's funny how desirable it really is. We were at a speaking at a Crest event a couple months ago, and I heard people from all over the country had come out to hear about it, and then when they hear us talking about the rebate programs that we were able to take advantage of, you could just see jaws on the floor and some envy in their eyes. It is a pretty special thing and is not commonplace around the country.
Thank you. Thank you, Blake and Chris. We're right on time for the next slide, which is going to be questions on your segment. So let's go here. So now we will take questions about the landscaper experiences. The audience members, if you could raise your hand using the raise your hand feature or type your questions in the Q&A, we will take questions one at a time in the order they are received. And I'm looking in the Q&A. Oh, we do have a Q&A. Okay, let me read this out. Okay, so this is from, I'll make sure I am looking at the hands too. Okay, so in the Q&A, we've got a question from Kevin Pearson. And his question is, what has been the impact related to personal capacity of lifting heavier equipment related to on increased work-related injuries and increased workers' comp rates when you're looking at a normal blower around 25 pounds compared to an electric blower at 40 pounds? That's
I don't know, 40-pound blowers. That's a that's a boat anchor. That's pretty bad. Ours are 2 pounds, I think, heavier than the gas ones that we're accustomed to. And so that's still noticeable. It's like I think it was the difference of 22 to 25 ish, but and there was a little bit of complaint around it, but we've had knocking on wood, no extra injuries or any problems physically, and therefore obviously no increase to the workers' comp rates. But there's one thing that they suggest is making sure that your teams are using all the straps, putting the straps around the waist, using the one that goes across the chest that prevents it from leaning backwards. I have a hell of a time getting my guys to do that. That's like asking your redneck grandpa to put a seatbelt on. It's just not that easy to do. You try and beg them and they will come around and they're using it, but it takes constant effort. It does help.
Thank you, Blake.
Yeah, and for us, Ash, our workers' comp injuries remain consistent to slip and falls or accidents around short-handled hedge trimmers and guys putting fingers out there. And so we do a lot of training around there. We don't have any really recordable injuries as it relates to carrying the equipment and being injured while carrying the equipment. So I don't believe that gas versus battery has any correlation with increasing workers' comp reportable.
Thank you. Thank you both, Chris and Blake.
For the sake of devil's advocacy on that, even I don't know if that's devil's advocacy technically, but even still, I could see how it has the potential to reduce. I mean, if you can actually hear what the hell's going on around you, you're probably less likely to walk into traffic or hear the guy yelling, "Hey, there's a bicycle coming!" Whatever options there are to that silence, it creates a lot more perception of your environment. So it's probably a wash.
Thank you. I'm looking at hands, not seeing any raised hands, and that was the only question in the Q&A. Going once, going twice. Any other questions for Q&A or hands raised? I don't see any more questions. Thank you, Chris, and thank you, Blake. Matt, we can move on to the next slide.
Cool. Thank you. So we're out of here, right, Ash? Or do you need us for anything?
You guys don't have to stay. This was your segment. Yeah. I'd appreciate it if you guys stayed for we have a few more questions around, but if you're busy, it's fine.
Oh, sure. Well, I'll at least maybe take the camera off my face. You don't have to stare at my mug. You're the man, Chris. If I don't talk
I'll
to
see you soon, Blake.
Yeah, man.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And let me go and fix this. Sorry, 1 second, everybody. Okay. So now we have the poll. So we're going to have the short poll that will show the audience composition, and I will share the results. So let me just go ahead and launch it. And launch. Okay, so there should be a poll showing up for folks. So go ahead and answer that poll. And I'll leave it up for a minute. And just give it 30 more seconds. Okay, so I'm going to end the poll. And I'm going to share the results so folks can see. And I'm just going to leave it up for a few more seconds. And now I'm going to stop sharing.
Sure, really.
Oh, and I see I thought I saw a raised hand. It went away now. Oh, did I share the results? I stopped sharing, sorry. Okay, next slide, please, Matt. Okay, power management products can charge multiple batteries unattended. Several such products are shown on this slide. Next slide, please. We have representatives from Makita here today, and they will speak on their power management devices or smart charging. So I'm going to hand it over to Steven Garcia.
Hey Ash, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you well. And next slide, please, Matt.
Perfect. All right. Well, thanks for inviting us on this discussion of battery and power management, especially since a lot of us are in different stages, right, of transitioning from gas to battery products. So during this presentation, I can't, is the PowerPoint okay? I can't see the graphics. There you go. All right. So yeah, there's three main takeaways I want everyone to walk away with during this presentation on battery and power management. So the first one really is just to have a general idea of battery management or just how many batteries are needed for a gas to battery transition. And now, why is that important? It's just because you need to understand how many batteries are needed to complete a full day's work, right? The second takeaway really is to have a better understanding of power management or how to charge those batteries. And why is that important? Because like the panelists before me discussed, that infrastructure really determines how efficient you're going to operate, which is going to be able to save you time and money in the long end. And finally, I just wanted to show everyone a couple of Makita's power management solutions. Next slide. So this is a common question that we get asked all the time. It's about battery management. How many batteries do you need per truck? And this is just a general idea because every truck is going to be different since every job profile is different. Landscapers move around a lot and every day is different. Week to week is different. Month to month is different. So this is just a general idea of the battery management situation that anyone might need. So the first thing you're going to have to do is really match the product assortment with the ideal battery. And I'm going to lump these into two baskets. The first basket is the high energy usage applications, which really consist of your mowing and blowing applications. These kinds of tools or equipment, they draw a lot of energy. So the best battery management option is really a backpack battery. We have two different options at Makita. We have a 1200-watt backpack battery, which has 33 amp hours, or we have a 1500-watt backpack battery that has 43 amp hours of output. And really, that's just a way to let you know that these have the higher capacity of energy storage. And really, that translates into longer runtime, which is ideal for all day work. So if you wanted to convert your truck from gas to battery, generally you're going to need three of these batteries for a full day's work of mowing and blowing. And then the second bucket I would categorize as moderate energy usage applications, and those are typically your trimming and cutting applications. The best battery management option for handheld outdoor power equipment is going to be a 40-volt slide pack battery. We have 4 amp hour options and 5 amp hour options. The handheld battery powered equipment is usually pretty efficient in terms of energy usage. And if you want to convert from gas to battery, you generally need about 12 40-volt 4-amp batteries or 8 40-volt 5-amp batteries to complete your day. But the 5-amp hour battery is going to offer a little bit more runtime. So you're going to need a little bit less of them to complete your day. And honestly, at 5 amp hours, I think that would be the best bang for your buck. So if we had to make a choice, I'd probably go with the 5 amp hour batteries. Next slide, please. And so power management. This is a slide just to show you the evolution of how users approach charging. This is just a general landscape of what we've seen over, I think we've been in this business, the battery operated outdoor power equipment business for 6-7 years, don't quote me. But it's just a way to seek an alternative to gas stations, right? To keep the job moving by managing your power needs. Over time, we see these three main stages in how users approach charging. The first stage is what I call the grassroots charging stage. And that's where you buy your equipment, you pack out your batteries and your chargers, and you try to set them up wherever you can. It's really a setup built out of necessity. It's really about survival at this point. And it's flexible, but it quickly becomes disorganized, as you can see on the photo on the top left, and inefficient, and it creates a lot of bottlenecks. So really what we see 6 months later to a year, the landscaper typically likes to move to a mobile charging solution just because their business is mobile. So it's a great idea because it gives them the freedom from being off the grid by charging anywhere. The trade-off is dependency on fuel, just because you're probably going to need a generator slash inverter to continue to gas up and maintain. And it sort of defeats the purpose of why we're transitioning to battery powered equipment in the first place, because you continue to add to noise and emissions to the environment. But ultimately, the destination is the base charging solution, and that's the most efficient stage. Probably 6 months to a year after mobile charging, people realize, hey, I need something that's more stable. And so a structured setup eliminates hazards, it saves time, and it really presents a professional image of your organization. But the biggest advantage of base charging is really workflow efficiency, because with overnight charging, crews are able to start each day fully powered and ready to work. But the real reason I wanted to show this slide is just because I wanted to give you an example of the general evolution of power management, just to illustrate how users progress toward more efficient charging over time. And it could probably help you considering where in that journey you're in right now. So if you're transitioning from gas to battery, the opportunity really is to try to leapfrog as quickly as possible from grassroots stage of charging to the ultimate destination phase, which is overnight charging. And that's going to save you time, it's going to save you hassle, and it's going to maximize the efficiency in your business. Next slide. So power management, overnight charging does have some challenges. As more shops move toward overnight charging, you start to see some limitations. The average shop usually just has one 20 amp circuit with a 15 amp outlet, and that means that you can only charge a limited number of batteries at one time. This example you see here on the slide is an example that illustrates we have two dual port chargers already drawing about 12 amps and charging only 4 batteries at once. And the problem is, if you plug in too many, you're probably going to risk tripping a breaker. And so the challenge really becomes on how do you scale charging capacity without overloading the shop's electrical system. And the next slide shows you that we have a few different options here. Option number one is just to update your infrastructure and add more circuits to the breaker box, right? But not many people are willing to do that because it does involve an investment that could reach several thousands of dollars. And even if you add more power, it might not be enough. And so the second option in the middle, which was pictured before my presentation, is really a method that's becoming more popular. It's called the power distribution management method. I like to call them smart power strips. People also call them PDMs. And what they do, they manage amperage flow. So you can sequentially charge batteries really without overloading your electrical system or tripping breakers. And like I said, this product has gained a lot of momentum in the marketplace over the past few years, just because you could have multiple connections, and the end user can buy as many as they need to and daisy chain the smart power strips and the chargers together, and you don't have to worry about going over the 15 amp limit and breaking any circuits. And finally, the third option is just build your own station. You can tailor make your own charging station specific to your shop needs. And as Makita, an organization that has seen this over the past 6-7 years, we can help guide you through that to figure out which option works best for your shop. But ultimately, typically, when we go out, we see most power management systems that have a combination of using option 2 and 3, using the PDMs and in conjunction with their custom charging station. Next slide. And so finally, and with a couple of solutions that we have at Makita to best manage power, we have in-field charging solutions and overnight charging stations. The in-field charging solution, although it's not ideal, we understand that the end user has a concern about that. They want to go and charge on the go. And so for that reason, we have a solution, the BAC01, which is the first photo on the left side. It can deliver up to 2,800 watts of continuous output, and it's supported by those backpack batteries that I talked about at the beginning of the presentation. So you can run that 1,200 watt backpack battery or the 1,500 watt backpack battery. And what's nice about this configuration is that DC power can convert into AC power and charge two 40 volt XGT batteries at the same time. And it's got a couple cool, nice multiple outlet types, like the USB 12-volt CARB port and the compact USB ports. You can charge your portable devices. It's a really compact portable solution. It's a really nice option if that's what you're looking for in the field charging. And finally, we have the overnight charging stations. We believe at Makita that overnight charging is going to be the key solution to manage outdoor product equipment power needs. So for this reason, we've developed the BCC01 and the BCC02, which really they're just multi-port chargers, and they're going to be available sometime in the near future. The BCC01 can charge 8 40-volt 5-amp batteries in just over 6 hours, and the O2 can charge 12 40-volt batteries in just over 7 hours. And the final thing I'd like to point out is the charging rack that you see to the right of the screen here. It's just a demonstration. It's just really to illustrate the bigger picture, because earlier, as I mentioned, we looked at the challenges of transitioning from gas to battery and the need to manage expectations around runtime and charging. And this is just an example of power managing the battery needs of 4 trucks worth of tools overnight, so that you guys can just keep operations moving all day long with no downtime. But we understand that every operation is going to be different. And at Makita, we've seen this quite a bit over the past 6-7 years. So we just want to let you guys know that we could help give you ideas so that you can build your own power management system that fits your needs. And if you need to reach out to us, you're more than welcome to, and we can help you out.
Okay, thank you, Stephen. We are right at time. So let's go to the next speaker. We have representatives from Palanque speaking today, and they will speak on their zero emissions technology. So we have Jeremy Barrows. Please take it over, Jeremy.
Sure, Ash. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. Hi, guys. My name is Jeremy. I'm with Palanque. I'm the director for the battery tools. I'm going to go over a few things with you today. I'm going to keep it short and sweet and maybe focus more on the questions. The focus for me today is about safety, since we have safety solutions for storing and charging those cabinets, because this is a big factor. I mean, many of the panelists went over charging solutions, struggles, mobile, and then in factory solutions. And so that's the next step is, okay, how do you do that overnight, like Stephen mentioned earlier, but how do you do it safely, especially when nobody's around? We are still talking about hazardous equipment, lithium ion, so safety is a big factor to keep in mind, especially at scale when you reach over 50 batteries, especially when you have multiple small batteries. So I'm going to go over that today with you guys. Next slide, please. So first off, the battery. So this is what we call the ULIB battery. This is our platform where all the tools can attach to. And you have smart BMS solution for managing the charging cycle, optimizing the lifetime of the battery. So that's all part of the battery itself. And now we're going to switch to the infrastructure, which is another layer of smart technology for charging. Next slide, please. So this is a couple of pictures of what we call the Securion, which is a safety cabinet. These safety cabinets, as you can see, can store many batteries. So the ULIB I just mentioned before, but you can actually store and charge any kind of battery you want in those cabinets. It's not proprietary in terms of battery platform. It can be with multiple brands, charging securely overnight for basically on-site, not on-site, but not mobile, but fixed solution overnight. So that's, again, when you start having over 40, 50 batteries, that's this kind of solution will make sense. The big takeaway for this is that you basically store the batteries inside, you charge them. You can use PDMs, so like the TOA modules for sequencing the charge over multiple units. but securely in the way that those cabinets have features that's going to basically detect, let's say, a fire that's starting inside or maybe outside of the cabinet and basically operate accordingly. And we're going to go over the features. So next slide, please. So yeah, we have multiple sizes. Overall dimension, you're looking at a big cabinet that's 47 by 24 by 82 inches. 10 compartments, that's the big one. You can have the size of that. Each layer, each compartment is segregated, meaning that if there is a fire in one battery in one compartment, it doesn't spread across the whole cabinet because it's including fire retardant up to 90 minutes in each of those shelves and basically divisions. And so, yeah, that's pretty much what it does. And the whole idea is that if there is a fire, the cabinet is going to shut the door to choke the fire if it's coming from the inside or protect it if it's from the outside. So that's the whole idea. And as you can see, there is also an HVAC system on the top to evacuate fumes in case of fire, obviously outside of the building if you store that in a building. So that's pretty much the purpose of that. So next slide, please. So yeah, some of the features. So as I mentioned, the doors closing automatically in case of fire inside or outside, using thermocouples, temperature sensors in various positions inside of the cabinet. The evacuator, the ducting also on the top of the cabinet to evacuate the fumes. There are many connections, so for power, but also communication. Let's say you have a supervision on site, you can actually see what's going on inside of the cabinet in terms of charging, in terms of temperature sensors, if there is a threshold, if there is an alarm. So you can also communicate with this equipment to monitor and supervise what's going on, either on a laptop, PC, or even on your phone using a mobile app, since we are talking about charging overnight as far as the system. Yeah, the ducting, the charging, and yeah, that's pretty much it. And we have many options. So you can have power strips inside of the cabinet. You can have the PDMs inside, PDMs outside. We just installed a few of those cabinets in Arkansas, and they decided to put the PDMs outside and the chargers inside because chargers are generating heat, so it's a potential hazard for them. So they preferred to have that inside for risk management and mitigation. So yeah, but we have multiple configuration for this equipment. Next slide, please. And yeah, so as I mentioned, so we have multiple options. Those last slides are not, it's just to show basically the dimension and the different configuration you can have, but that's still basically having the same purpose overall. It's just at different scales. So we can go through those slides. Next one, please. Yep. So those are the drawings. Next one for the big, for the big cabinets that we just installed. Next one. And yeah, if you have any questions, we can go over the details as far as power, input, output management, and all of that. But it's again another layer in the infrastructure where, as Stephen mentioned before, so you have the kind of the first stage, then you have the mobile unit, then you have the overnight unit, and now how do you do that in a safe environment? And that's what we offer at Palanque when you go at scale with this kind of battery power solutions. Obviously, we also offer battery tools and batteries as well. But again, those solutions can be used with multiple brands, different brands. It's not just for basically our battery platform at Palanque. Next slide, please. I think that's the last one. And yeah, that's about it.
Thank you, Jeremy. And thank you, Stefan. So now we will take questions about the smart charging technology talks. Please raise your hand using the raise your hand feature or type your questions in the Q&A, and we'll take questions one at a time. I'm not really seeing any raised hands. And no Q&A over there. Just give it a little bit of time. Okay, here we go. Here's a Q&A. This question is from Blake Meal, and his question is, how long does the Makita Bi battery run a blower for?
Yeah. Hi. So I'm assuming that it's
Big battery, sorry.
the backpack blower. It's almost impossible to answer that question, just because there's so many different variables. But if you want to work all day with your backpack blower, you're probably going to need 3 of those backpack batteries that we talked about. It could be 1200 watts, 1500 watts, but in general, over our experience, we've seen that the typical landscaper would require at least 3 of those to get through a complete day of blowing or mowing.
Thank you. Let's see. Oh, there's another question. So this is from Blake, a follow-up. So he's asking, so it can last up to 2 to 3 hours.
If that's what he's doing, then yeah, it typically could, depending on what he's doing, because it's impossible to tell you exactly how much runtime you'll get out of a battery without knowing all the different variables.
Thanks, Stephen. I'm not seeing any raised hands, and I'm not seeing any Q&A questions. So shall we move to the next slide? Okay, let's move to the next slide. Thank you, Stephen and Jeremy.
Thank you.
Okay, next slide is, we have invited representatives on our incentives panel to answer questions. Panel members include Air District representatives and Carl Moyer program representatives. For this section, please raise your hand using the raise your hand feature or type your question in the Q&A. We will take questions one at a time in the order they are received. And I'll take turns like we have been doing with the spoken question, raised hands, and the Q&A questions. Next slide, please. So our panel members are from the California Air Resources Board, Joshua Lowell, who is an air pollution specialist in the Carl Moyer program. We also have Vicki Hanks, who is an air pollution specialist in the Carl Moyer program as well. From the air districts, we have Adam Shapiro, who is an air quality program manager of the Strategic Incentives Division in the Bay Area Air District, and Daniel Langmaid, who is a supervising staff specialist in the Strategic Incentives Division, also in the Bay Area Air District. We have Eugene Tan, who is a program supervisor in the Technology Advancement Office of the South Coast Air District. We have David Frisbee, who is a planning and air monitoring manager at Monterey Bay Unified Air District. We have Stephanie Hitchman, who is a senior air quality specialist in strategies and incentives in the San Joaquin Valley Air District. And we have Julie McKeehan, who is a grants analyst in Antelope Valley Air District. So let me look at raised hands and Q&A. And I'm not seeing any raised hands or any questions come up. A quiet audience today.
I see one question potentially in the chat.
Oh yeah, thank you, Joshua. Let me just go ahead and read it. This is from Blake Meal. Is there still a lot of funds available?
And so I think just to kick this one off, there for the Carl Moyer program, there are funds allocated annually to the air districts which handle implementation, and so it would really be determined by which air district you were operating in, and whether their program is oversubscribed currently. Though if they are running a program, it's possible that in the next session or the next solicitation that they would have additional funds. So the answer is yes. There's still funds available, and there should be funds ongoing if your district is operating a lawn and garden program. And we could turn it to the districts that are present if they wanted to share information about their individual programs, and then we should also be able to provide a list of districts that have ongoing lawn and garden programs. So if you could determine which district you're in, you could look and see if the district is operating a program and what the status is.
I can just hop in there. This is Dave Frisbee with Monterey Bay Air Resources District. And we had initially $315,000 in Moyer State Reserve funds for a commercial program. And we added $80,000 for a residential program from that, from our Moyer grant that we received. That instead of funding tractors, we funded added additional funding to the residential program. And so we've had so much popularity that we are continuing adding funds to that. We just received the following year we received another $200,000 of Moyer State Reserve. We added that to the program, and then we've received another $200,000 that we're going to roll back into that program as well. So it's so popular that we're just going to keep funding it as long as we have interest, just diverting funds from our regular Moyer grants. And those we cover the Monterey, Santa Cruz, and San Benito counties in Central California, Central Coast California.
Thanks, David.
I can probably hone in on this one for South Coast AQMD on the South Coast Air Base, and we have an ongoing commercial lawn and garden program, and yes, we still have an abundance of funds. In fact, we are going to our board to put in another $5 million. Hopefully, I mean, upon approval in September board, which will happen September 5th. So, and we do cover LA County, Orange County, Los Angeles County, and San Bernardino County, so, and Riverside County, if I missed it.
Well said. Thank you.
I'll jump in next. We are the San Joaquin Valley Air Pollution Control District and cover 8 counties from San Joaquin County all the way south to the eastern portion of Kern County. Our program has been running since 2023, and we allocated $2 million for this fiscal year's funding, and we are still accepting applications for that.
Awesome. Thank you. I think there's at least one more district that we may hear from.
Yes. Hi, I'm Julie from Antelope Valley Air Quality Management. And we also have an ongoing program, and we have an estimated 500,000 to work with. I did want to mention there was discussion of CORE, and I know that program does allow for purchasing equipment, or whereas the air districts there is a scrap requirement. But yeah, we have an ongoing program for businesses and landscapers here in the Antelope Valley. And that covers Palmdale, Lancaster. I believe that we also cover parts of Roseman, even though it is somewhat out of our air district, but we're so closely connected that we do honor those as well. Yeah, if you have any questions, let me know.
Thank you, Julie. Before we maybe move on to the next question, although it seems a little off topic, I just wanted to direct everyone to the webinar chat. If you can see it, there is a link there to the Zero Emission Landscaping Equipment Incentives Program webpage, where the districts that are participating in the incentives programs show whether they have commercial or residential rebates. So if you know your air district, you can click on one of the links and see the status of their program. And so that should be available for everybody in the chat.
Thank you, Joshua, and thank you,
Yeah.
everybody.
Oh, I could
Oh,
say
sorry, go
about
ahead.
about our program too, if that's all
Yes,
right.
yes.
I'm so sorry. My bad.
No, it's fine. So I'm Daniel. I'm from the Bay Area Air District. Our jurisdiction is all the counties surrounding the San Francisco Bay Area. So San Mateo, Santa Clara, Alameda, Contra Costa, the eastern part of Solano County, Napa County, the southern half of Sonoma County, and Marin County. We are working to open a commercial lawn and garden program. Any day now, probably by the end of the summer. So most likely sometime in September. We're gonna have $15 million available for that. And it'll be a scrap and replace program. And yeah, so if anyone's interested, please sign up on our website for notifications.
Thank you. Thank you to all our air districts, and thank you, Joshua.
Pleasure.
So I'm going to go to the next question here. This is also from Blake Neal. His question is South Coast AQMD funding commercial electric vehicle conversions?
I guess I can jump in on that one. In terms of commercial electric vehicle conversions, it won't be funded under our commercial lawn and garden program. That definitely would be another incentive program. I would suggest maybe looking into some of our incentive programs like the CARB program possibly. It is currently open right now. I can probably drop the link to the webpage for that in the chat or share it with Ash to share with everyone here if you're interested in that.
In the chat is fine, Yejun.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
I'll go ahead and drop it in the chat.
Thank you. I don't see any more raised hands, and I don't see any more questions. So maybe we should go to the next slide. So thank you to all of our panel members. Thank you to our Carl Moya colleagues. Thanks so much. Next topic. Okay, so next up, we would like to request your input on future workgroup topics. Please share them with us, either through the Q&A, sharing by speaking here, or you can email suggestions to us at landscaper@arb.ca.gov. Next slide, please. We have listed contacts for the programs we discussed here. If you have questions for us or didn't get a chance to ask them at the meeting today, please email us at soar@arb.ca.gov or at landscaper@arb.ca.gov. And then for Carl Moya specific questions, you can go to moyahelp@arb.ca.gov, and the clean off-road equipment, you can email them directly at core@arb.ca.gov. Next slide, please. Okay, so the next Landscaper Workgroup meeting will be held tentatively on December 3rd, 2025. I also want to share some upcoming landscaper events, and they are listed on this slide. So Landscapers Coalition and Inclusive Action have a Know Your Rights webinar for landscapers next week on Tuesday, August 26th at 5 p.m. The registration link to that is going to be shared in the chat. And now we will take questions. So let me click on attendees and look at the Q&A. And I'm not seeing any questions or raised hands. I will just give it a few seconds more. So we do have time if folks have questions. Maybe I will go to Christopher next to close out the meeting, but you guys can put Q&A in the Q&A or raise your hands if questions come to you. So let me hand it over to Christopher.
Thanks. First, I wanted to give Eugen a chance if you wanted to mention verbally your message that you just put in the chat.
Yeah, I do want to apologize. I misspoke. So we have the CARB Moyer program application period actually just closed for South Coast AQMD, but I did put in the link for our CARB Moyer program, just in case if you want to know about the latest information for it or when we reopen, we would definitely have notifications there. Sorry about that.
No problem. Thank you so much. Yeah, so if we still have no new questions, I want to thank everyone for participating in our meeting tonight. We really appreciate all of the folks from air districts and landscapers and manufacturers who presented today and answered questions and shared their experiences. Thank you, everyone else who joined the meeting and participated. We hope you learned something new, got some good information today, and we look forward to connecting with you further in the future. Thanks again, everyone, and have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks. Bye.